Cause I'm about that. Cause I'm about that. I'm about that come up, running up on them fools that are talking foolish. Try to get them funds up, killing the mics just like I ran in jewels in. Y'all gonna get done up front, knowing that kid with an attitude, but you can't really blame his motherfucker. It's what he had to do. I'm about that cash flipping, I'm getting it on and off the market. Not about that VIP, not me, not never been a fan of carpet. All about that RIP for all of my Jesus gone departed. All about that finish when I started, I'm about that.
Top down like you're not ready. We ride, we're about that. So high we see the whole city. We own the night. Top down like you're not ready. We ride, we're about that. So high we see the whole city. We own the night.
Nothing about it, want a man I can bring the drama. But it ain't by chance, I'm fucking rapping, you don't really want a problem. Made a little cash in the back end, but still rapping and calling me starving. Yeah, y'all gotta ask who the man is, hope I'm gonna be like, beg your pardon. I'm about that.
Top down like you're not ready. We ride, we're about that. So high we see the whole city. We own the night. Top down like you're not ready. We ride, we're about that. So high we see the whole city. We own the night.
And what is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Ysn Power Hour live from Stream City, USA, East Palestine, Ohio. It's DJ Yoakley, joined by Quinn Pushkar, Richie Giuliano, Paul Munson, Ty Bartell, as well as the man, the myth, and the legend. He's all over YSN right now. Billy McCartney and Michael McNuggies McKenzie. Gentlemen, how are we doing today? Quinn, start with
Good.
you.
It's a Tuesday.
It is Tuesday. Did I say something different? Or did
No,
I
I'm just saying it's Tuesday. Another day of the week.
Nice job, Paul.
Yeah.
Way to bring it all in. Put it all in perspective. It's a Tuesday. Guys, it is
Big week
what's
of playoff football, baby.
yes, it is a big week of playoff football. Huge
Not for
week.
you.
Oh boy. Here we go again.
Okay. Yeah. That's why you're scumbag central.
No, that's not why he's
Hey,
scumbag central.
Hey, you know what?
I'm why he's
Person's got a
scumbag.
week off too. You know, let's give them some crap.
Who?
Oh, who? You sound like an owl over there now.
You said no. There was like grog, like noises. You said Ursuline? Yeah, they're stupid too.
Whoa.
They should have played.
Pick a different word. Go in the J Betos dictionary and find a different word for that.
They should not be resting their laurels on a bye. Terrible.
All right, it is National Coaches Day, and this is fitting. I mean, there's about 35 different nationality days Paul, what are you doing?
Homework.
Oh, my goodness.
Science
It is
homework.
National Coaches Day, and the question to you guys and the question we pose to all of our viewers, give a shout out to your favorite coach. Who is your favorite coach and why? Quinn, we'll start with you.
That's tough. I played for a lot of good coaches. I'm going to go with Josh Scott. He's the current head coach of Heartland Christian for the boys basketball team. Played travel ball for him, and he was one of those coaches that was just really good at getting the most out of his players, I guess. He's become kind of like one of those like mentors for me and stuff like that, coaching now, and just a great overall guy and great family around too with his dad on staff too. Just great people.
Appreciate that. Paul, do you need to mute yourself?
Nope, we're good.
All right. Richie, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to give a shout out to my broadcast partner on YSN and the Friday night football games we do together, Coach Gary Niddle, now the head varsity baseball coach at Canfield. Something I really liked about Coach Niddle was he always let us play loose. You know, we were never tight going into a game. We were always able to approach him and talk to him if there was something wrong. So I really like that aspect of his coaching style, and I think he did a great job for us at the JV level, and I'm excited for him now that he's the varsity coach.
Can appreciate that. G-Nit is the man, the myth, and the legend. Maybe not as much as Billy McCartney because he's here. But we move on to the state champion JV baseball coach. Paul, who were your influences along the way?
I would say I played baseball and football here at South Range, but obviously the biggest coach that was an influence for me would be one of your favorite guys, Dan Yeagley. Coach Yeagley was he treats all the kids like they're his own. Both his boys played here at the range too, and but just because you weren't his son, he treated you like that. So he was definitely a stable figure in a lot of guys' lives, and I mean, there's still a ton of guys that respect him and always want to come back and say hi to him whenever they're in town. So he was a big influence. He was probably the best coach I'd had.
That's awesome. It's a great answer. Ty, your favorite coach?
Probably my favorite coach was summer baseball was Coach Cheney. He was very hard-nosed and old school, but I think it definitely made us all better, and it made us mentally tough for every game.
All right. And we turn to the coach himself, Coach Billy Mack, Scumbag Central. Who do you got?
I got like a toss-up because
Shout him both.
one is Mark Bajelic. He's at Canfield right now. He was my head football coach at Newton Falls when I played football. It was just so much more than just football with him. And then the other one was Vic Romack. He coached me in baseball, summer, travel, all throughout high school. He demanded that you played baseball like you lived, and that was to live on the edge.
Love that. This better have one answer and one answer alone.
Yeah.
McNuggies,
Yeah,
who's your favorite coach?
It's got to be my dad. He's been there every step of the way. And aside from the fact that he's a literal coach right now for the Beaver local football team, he was my coach in rec league basketball a few years when I was in 3rd and 4th grade. But, he's been there every step of the way. He's pushed me. He challenges me every day, and he just makes me a better man overall.
Oh, that is the best. For mine, I'm going to go with a guy who, weirdly enough, we have this rivalry with Columbiana when you're from East Palestine, and the best coach I ever had was a Columbiana Hall of Famer, and now his kids go to United. His name's Troy Burdine, and he was by far the best coach I ever had. He believed in me. He believed that when you put the time in, you put the effort in, and you could do whatever you wanted to do. And he's the one that really pushed me my senior year in high school to go to the next level and play baseball. Even though it was D3, it was still further than anybody else in the area was doing at the time. So he taught me more about life and more about baseball than anybody I ever knew. So I wanted to give a shout out to my favorite coach of all time, Coach Burdine, and guys, given that there's not a whole hell of a lot to talk about today, and being that we have coaches on our panel, I wanted to ask the question: what's the kind of impact that coaches can and should have in the lives nowadays for student athletes? I mean, you look around the area, and sometimes you see kids growing up without a father figure. You see them growing up without a positive male role model and positive female role models in their lives. Because I don't want to single out just coaches being male, but now they're also female. So you look at that, and what's the opportunity that we as coaches and players and student athletes can have as a role model, as a coach? Quinn, you're a basketball coach. You're going to coach tonight. Talk to me about the role and your expectations on being a coach.
I mean, coaches, it's tough. I mean, it's a weird thing because every coach goes about things differently. And I mean, it's not that in high school, you don't want to be all about winning and all that stuff because you're still shaping young minds, I guess you can say. But for me, I mean, it's one of those things where it's positive influence. I mean, you get to be around guys that are coming up. In my case, I coach boys basketball at Lisbon, so I'm around guys that are coming up through and they're going out into their own journey and stuff like that. Once they graduate, so being able to be one of those supportive figures in their lives and kind of guide them through it based on what you've gone through and just give support when it's needed is important.
Richie, as a student athlete, what do you look for in a coach to kind of fill a void somewhere? Is it just to educate you on a sport, or is it to fill a role somewhere else, kind of in the field of play in your personal life?
Yeah, I'd say for me, it's to educate me on the certain sport. I know a lot of players and that I play with in my past career that stopped playing the game of baseball or the game of basketball because of a certain coach. So I think as a coach, your job is definitely to make the game fun. I mean, that's why you play the game. For a lot of us, that's a way to get away from the house, a way to get away from school, just to go out there and have some fun. And if you're going to practice and you're not enjoying it, then there's no reason to play the game. So I think it's to keep the game fun, but at the same time be educational and make sure you guys are doing the right thing at the right time.
Does it not look like Richie is like on a space shuttle, like on the moon?
This is the best. This is the best I could find right now. We got bands playing over there. We got motorcycles riding over there. People cutting chains and saws.
He's like looking down into the thing, and it's like
it's sunny. It's sunny too. So I'm trying to block the sun.
I just feel like he's like on the space shuttle and he's shooting backwards with Earth behind him. Paul, you're a coach. I mean, as a student athlete, what were you looking for, and as a coach, what gap are you looking to fill?
I mean, as a player, you were looking for a coach to teach you not the fundamentals. I mean, that was learned later on or early on in your lifetime with that. But when you get to the high school level, I mean, it was like you wanted them to talk about their program and what you could do to improve that program. So you were always looking for that spot to fill that you could be the cog in the wheel to make it better. And as a coach now, I'm looking at the guys at the JV level, I'm telling these guys, listen, I'm here to make you better so that you can participate and fulfill good roles in the varsity level. And then when I'm up there with the varsity guys, in my position out there in the outfield with those guys, I'm just telling these guys, listen, this is your spot. Then you need to make sure that you do your job 100% all the time to help our program, because we've got a great program here. And now, so we're not building a program, we're sustaining and making that program keep going forward. And what is your job is to make sure that does that. And when you slack off, then I always let the guys know there's somebody right behind you that's hungry and they're going to take your spot. We don't care what you are. So, stay hungry, help the program out. And, and
if you're hungry, I've got Doritos for 75 cents in my room.
50 cents.
50. Oh.
50 cents. Paul gives his kids the bargains.
Everybody else, the prices go up.
No.
And the Munson factory, they go down.
No, 50 cents for chips and pop, $1 for Gatorades, $1 for water, $1 for... Watch out. Scumbag Central. Somebody's at the door.
Oh, my God. Look out.
Yeah.
Ty Bartell, what are you looking for in a coach? What are some of the qualities that you looked for when you played and the expectations that you would have for your kids nowadays for a coach?
I think the best coaches nowadays, I think it's you need to understand first and foremost that every kid is different. And I think the best coaches don't coach a whole team in its entirety. It's more of coaching towards each individual player, because each individual player is different. Each individual player needs a little bit more and some need a little bit less than others. Some you need to get hard on, get after, and get them, angry to play the game and get motivated. Others, you gotta be a little bit easier on, kind of off their back a little bit. I also think, as far as coaching goes, I think you see the really good coaches, it goes beyond the game itself, and you're teaching kids life lessons as well that come with the game, and teaching them how to incorporate these lessons in their lives after the game's over. I think those are the best coaches, and those are the ones that stick into a lot of people's memories.
Very good. Scruff McGruff, you're up.
Well, I think coaching is a case-by-case thing. I mean, not every day. I'm not the same coach today as I will be tomorrow, or for this player, or for that player, or for this team, or for next year's team. But I think I go back to, I'm basically regurgitating the things that coaches have said to me in the past. It's kind of funny because when you're a kid, you hear what coaches are saying, but it's kind of one ear out the other for the most part. Maybe some hints kind of pop up and you can kind of go off of that. But I seem to be saying a lot of the same things that coaches were saying. So when it goes to like what Ty was saying, some life lessons and some things that I've been able to take as an adult outside of sports, I've been able to lean on some of those things. But as a player, I was pretty confident in my ability. Most athletes are, or any ones that are any good. I really just want to be able to trust my coach and be able to communicate and say, hey, I don't agree with this, and be able to have that open line of communication with them with that, and not be punished for it. So I really want a coach to manage me, not really over critique me.
I think we all can respect that part. McNuggies, many people don't know this except for maybe the AAU team of the Ohio Lakers, but you are a three-sport athlete. Talk to us about, what you look for in a coach and how you like to be coached.
I don't know if there's a specific way I like to be coached. I just think the best thing for coaches to do, especially at the high school level, is to just prepare these young men and women for later in life, teach them life lessons, just make them better people overall. I mean, obviously everybody's all about winning nowadays and win at all costs, but I think that the best quality in a coach is how they're able to prepare you to be a better man on and off, a better man or woman on or off the field or the court or the track or wherever. Just prepare them to be better people later in life.
I think we can all get behind that. Coach Seidel, which is one of my favorite coaches as well, saying the best coaching material I have comes from coaches I have worked with, read their book, or seen them speak. I've been lucky to learn from some, it says great coaches, but I got to believe it's great coaches. Probably a little text to talk there, or talk to text rather. For me, it all comes down to consistency. I think that's the biggest thing in life is you just want a little bit of consistency wherever you go. If expectation is A and you do A, the next day it shouldn't be expectation is B. And I think nowadays that's the way that some coaches coach because of their expectations, so to speak, and trying to move the chains. Listen, greatness is not going to be built in one day. We talked yesterday about Paul's got daddy voice out. The snaps. No.
You're getting in the candy.
Yes.
That'll be 50 cents, please and thank you.
50 cents, Olivia. 50 cents. Put it in the can.
Yeah.
You're robbing from South Range Baseball.
No. The candy's free, but they know where it is and they try to eat it.
Oh, I see what you do. You put the sweet in there so that way they get the salty later and it costs them 50 cents. I'm on to you, Munson. I'm on to you. Yeah, I mean, when it all comes down to it, Don Andres, a legend, says Daryl Klein. So shout out to Coach Andres. When you look at it, coaches on National Coaches Day here, I think everybody's looking. I mean, people are looking for something different, and that's the toughest part about being a coach. Sometimes that's the toughest part about being a player, is the expectations that we set on each other and others set on you. So when you're a coach, everybody wants a little something different. And I know that Billy Mack goes through this. I mean, everybody wants a buddy. Everybody wants a coach to teach them a little bit more about the curveball or a little bit more, how do I excel myself a little bit more? And coaches, we don't give them near enough credit while we're actually on the team. And then later in life, we kind of figured out that, and like Billy Mack was saying, you find yourself saying things that they say. It's kind of like parents, right? You find yourself saying weird things when you're a parent. You go, whoa, I don't remember even. You could hear your kind of mom or dad's voice coming out of you when you say stuff. It's really, really weird. And when it's a coach, it's the same thing. You say how you're going to coach and how when you do it, it's going to be different. And all of a sudden, you start talking about your, stepping in the bucket, and you start talking about dropping your arm and arm angles and all the coach talk and coach speak that we hear and see all the time is, it's 3 yards in a cloud of dust or 4 yards in a cloud of dust, and it's really interesting just to see how everybody kind of aligns with that. So here on National Coaches Day, we tip our cap. Mine's backwards, so I can't really.
I think it's a lot harder. I feel to coach in today's. Because I've been coaching since I was 18 years old, and when I first started out, you still had that rough and tough, and you're going to make your kids tough mentality. But the schools are not okay with that type of coaching anymore. You don't have that backing. The parents, they don't like when you raise your voice. Not everybody, but I'm just talking. It's out there where you're not going to yell at my baby like that. So it's tough. And I've known coaches growing up that are glad that they quit coaching because of dealing with those type of issues. There's no support from the schools, and every school is different. But there's no support from the schools. There's no support from the parents. Anything you do. So these coaches, they go through a lot of things, and they walk on eggshells at times. So it's good that they get to have a day to be appreciated.
One of the greatest coaches to ever do it, just retiring this week, Don Bucci from Cardinal Mooney, is after 60 years is hanging it up, and one of the greatest to ever do it here in the Valley, and especially under the. Do you want to talk about old school rules? That was the old school rules, and Cardinal Mooney. So many different variations of the Mooney program over the years, and he was ahead of it the entire time. So hats off again, and congratulations on a wonderful, wonderful career for head coach over at Cardinal Mooney, Coach Bucci. And I know there's many, 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 many people that have a lot to say about Coach along the way, and 99% of it's going to be great things.
And guys like that are few and far between anymore.
Well, yeah, you can't coach like Coach Bucci anymore. I mean, like Max said, it's coaches are always kind of one foot in the grave, so to speak, because they, you make one mistake and all of a sudden you got some parent or some school board member pushing you into it, saying that's not the way we do things. I mean, you look at just the way that some of the old school coaches around here, who have a ton of wins, a ton of have helped so many kids get to the next level or start, whatever it is in life that they're doing. They're under a lot of distress now because you can't say things to kids anymore. You can't tell them that you're better, or you get to a second or third generation of that particular family, and you pretty much know what you got, in front of you when it comes to talent, because usually the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. That being said, Paul Munson, maybe you can clear this up. Carrie, your lovely wife, says,
Nope.
One of my favorite coaches once said, if it's not broke, break it and find a way to make it better. I've never heard that, and I would probably slap my coach if he ever said it to me. Please explain.
Got me. I was reading it for the first time too, going, I don't know. I mean, the only person I know that coached her when she was younger was her parents. So.
Well, I wouldn't slap her parents, but I would slap someone if they told me what you do is not good enough, break it, make it better. Like, what?
Yeah. I mean, and the bad thing is, and like you said, Billy alluded to it as well with the whole parents thing. I mean, it's unfortunate parents make it hard to coach. I mean, because they just can't let you do your job. And especially when baseball is a really tough one as an example, because as we all talk about daddy ball, your son or daughter has been coached by you for so long, and then they get to a level of like high school or something, and now you've turned the reins over to somebody else, but you still sit there and you hover. I mean, I sit at these, being the PA announcer here, whether it's football or soccer, you hear these parents in the stands yelling, oh, take that shot, let's go, or pass the ball over there, do this. There's a coach on the court or on the field that is trying to coach this kid, and they hear you screaming from the stands, and it's like, shut up. Like, let that coach do their job. If you want their job, then go apply for their job. And if you don't get it, then that's just the way it is. I mean, we always joke. With the other coaches I talk to, we would love to have a team of orphans. A team of orphans, a good team of orphans, because then you don't worry about
What the hell is that?
Ooh, okay.
no parents.
That's
Don't worry about any parents.
That's the terrible thing to say.
I'm saying, like, if you worked at an orphanage or something, not saying that, like, all the kids that come to the high school have no parents. I'm saying go work at
I started talking crazy today.
An orphanage that's got, like, awesome athletes. You just go there and coach them, because nobody's going to be over
I've never seen Little Orphan Annie play basketball, so I don't know how she would be. But I got to imagine
the next LeBron James is over at the East Liverpool Orphanage. Just bring him in.
One of the things I've learned through coaching before is with dealing with parents is to make it a little easier is you set some hard ground rules from the start. You basically say, hey, we're not going to talk about little Johnny. We'll talk about your kid. Give me a day. Don't talk to me. Just a couple things. Don't talk to me in the game. Don't talk to me about playing time right after a game. Give me a day. Give me a call. If I'm affiliated with a team, I want to sit down with you, sit down with the athletic director, somebody above me, principal, whatever it is, and then we'll have that conversation because I don't ever like to have those conversations without somebody else above me.
Yeah, my mom chiming in saying, I just yelled at the umpires. You want to talk about embarrassing. Like, as a catcher, when your mom's yelling at the umpires, like, and she's a scorekeeper, I mean, it's not good. It's not. It doesn't end well for you at bat when the ball is this far outside and the umpire rings you up and says, "Sorry, kid, go talk to your mom about it." So it's nothing new for parents to get involved from the sidelines. I think where I draw the line, excuse me, is you see nowadays, and I don't know if it's new or not, Paul. Quinn and even Billy, you guys can kind of tell me if this is what you're seeing and how long you've been seeing it, but you're seeing it like the younger ages, 10U, 8U, where a kid, let's say, strikes out or makes an error in the field or misses a shot or whatever the case may be, they immediately look to the sidelines and beyond the sidelines to where their parents are sitting, and they want to see the reaction of their folks. And even more disturbing than the parents not being there is the parents sitting there like this, or Paul, like you said, shouting at their kid on the court. When you're like 5 to, I would say, 13, 14, like, leave it alone. If you're not going to coach, then you don't coach. You keep it shut until after the game, and then, you know, if you want to attend some practices and learn what the kids are learning so that way you can reinforce it at home, the way you do schoolwork, that's the way to do it. But, like, if a coach, like, if Quinn teaches me a jump shot and I'm one of his players, and then it's completely erased at home because daddy knows different or mommy knows that, like, that's garbage. Like, buy into the program, buy into what your coaches are teaching, and if you think it's wrong, then you address it one-on-one and you say, hey, just out of curiosity, this is what I've learned. How does it stack up to you? I mean, Quinn, how many conversations have you had with parents along the way of I just want to coach your kid. Let us coach your kid. I mean, we see it more and more, and this is not a trend that's going away.
Yeah, I mean, I've been blessed to be an assistant to where I don't have to deal with those kind of problems.
There we go again.
But when it comes to like AAU and stuff like that, I've had those conversations before. I mean, it's one of those things. You always have parents that think they know more and stuff. So I mean, it happens, and it's just like, okay, you can say you know more, but whatever. It's just, you gotta kind of brush it off as a coach too.
I mean, we've had kids come through here, and the parents got us within like their first year or two, and especially some freshmen sometimes, and say, hey, listen, we're going to some instruction. So whatever hitting instruction you guys want to do, my kid will sit there and appease you by just doing your drills, but we've got our own swing that we're going to do when it comes game time. And we're always like, wait a second, what? Like, okay. When our answer always is internally is, well, I hope the kid can hit, because if he can't, then we can't get blamed for it. We're going to blame mom and dad because we're trying to teach them one thing and they're going to, Joey Mack over here. Not Joey Mack, but somebody
incognito.
But I'm just saying, like, it's just, yeah. I don't think Billy teaches hitting, though. Do you, Billy?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you do? Okay, sorry. So,
he's a sponsor, Paul.
But yeah, I mean, but you have like things like that. And not saying that those people don't know what they're talking about, but like, you're trying to help us. We're trying to help you out. But it's happened, and all of a sudden those kids struggle, and they come back and say, well, I need some help. Well, now we're halfway through the season, and it doesn't, or you get parents that say, any changes you want to do with my kid, you got to run through me first. It's like,
so it's funny. I'm so glad you brought that up, Paul. So I've had issues. I think it's all fair to say that there's plenty of coaches out there that don't have a freaking clue of how to teach whatever sport they're in. There's a lot of times there's contracts with schools where a teacher gets first bid. So Joe Blow, who's a 70-year-old teacher feels like, hey, I want to coach football or baseball, they get the first crack at it no matter what. So that's part of that. So you get circumstances where some of the teachers become coaches and they don't have a clue what to do. That's not every scenario, but that is out there. That's a real thing. So that's why there are people like me that those people go to and trust. And there's a lot of things that we can do that you guys as a staff cannot do. And that is one thing is time. We can put more time in with these kids on an individual basis than you can with 12 or 15 or 25 kids on a team. So we spend a lot of time. We go all year round, a lot of my kids at least, but I have the conversation because I'm on both sides, right? So I have the conversation with the kids and the parents and say, hey, listen, if you don't agree with what coach is doing, let us all sit down. Let me sit down with them. Let me call coach, because most of the coaches in the area I know anyway. So I have no problem pick up the phone and say, hey, listen, little Johnny is doing this. What do you see? What do you need him to do that I can help him? This is what I'm trying to teach him. But a lot of times that conversation never happens. It's mom and dad having that conversation with coach, and they're really trying to railroad coach. And they're basically just trying to demean and, really kick down the coach, when in reality, you should bump up your coach and say, hey, how can I help you? Because he is going to a guy. How can I get my kid on the field? What do I need to do? You just need to learn how to throw it out there to him, put it on a tee.
Well, in honor of National Coaches Day, we want to commend all of the coaches that are out there striving to make a difference in student athletes' lives and the athletes and their players. So thank you for all that you do. Thanks for all the double timers out there that are parent coaches as well and are doing it the right way. So when we come back from our break, we're going to talk about some interesting tidbits that we just picked up from the playoff system and the price to get in to the OHSAA tournament. If you are looking to purchase a ticket, we'll also talk about a lot of other stuff, and of course, we will have our G. Burbick Farms What's Your Beef? All that and more coming up on the YSN Power Hour, brought to you by Joe Dickey Electric.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is here, so it's all hands on deck to make sure your plans still meet your needs for 2020.
Call us today.
Friday night, it's Fresh Limousine. I'm feeling pretty good about myself, like I'm living the dream. Platform shoes, strut down the street. It's gonna get hot here, I hope you can handle the heat.
Over the years, you watched us grow, and as we've grown, so has the Myers Family Insurance team.
Thanks to all of you who have trusted our families to help you with your Medicare needs.
Myers Family Insurance looks forward to helping you now for years to come. So call our family today and remind them how cute we are.
Myers Family Insurance continues to be the area's resource for all your Medicare and retirement needs. Call today, 330-286-3044.
And welcome back to the YSN Power Hour. DJ Oakley here, along with a few of my friends. Guys, some news I got in an email, as well as some calls around to the athletic directors in our network here. So ticket prices. Let's say you're going to go to a game. You're going to watch your son or daughter. You get a limited number of tickets, whether it be 2 or 4 or whatever that number may be. Tickets have increased to $12 a piece. So I think it's up. I was told by someone it was $8 last year. and now it's $12 this year. So the increase in $4 per ticket. Now, over the course of 4 tickets, I was told it was $12 a pop.
Yeah, usually in tournament it's the same. It should be the same number for the tournament stuff. I
So
thought.
you're looking at an increase of essentially 30% or so on every ticket. And we looking at an email I was sent earlier by the OHSAA. The board approved a 2020 to 2021 OHSAA budget.
Isn't it 50%, right? From 8 to 12?
That's 33%, Paul.
30?
That's definitely not 50%.
God, thank God you don't teach math there at South Range.
We are 0 for 2. You and Betos, buddy. I bet South Range are patting themselves on the back right now, rolling you two out there. Nice job, Paul. Your wife is cringing right now.
Oh, I know.
She works at a bank, and that's probably her right there. Nope.
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, $9.99 YSN. That's where you gotta go. You get all the games for that price, cheaper than a football ticket.
The place.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at less than 50 cents a game, right? I mean, Paul, monitor that math real quick. For 20 games, that's under 50 cents a game. So, or 50 cents exactly. So when you look at it, I mean, there is some value to what we're doing right now, especially if you're trying to, if you can't get a ticket for certain, but if you're like, you know what, screw this. Because here's the other thing. Schools aren't getting the tickets. They're not allowed to make money on the tickets as they usually were. Pre-sale was where they made their money, and then they would open it up, correct? I think that's how it worked. But we look at it now, and schools aren't getting any of the profits from these tickets. And you look at a school like Cardinal Mooney. My goodness. I mean, Ursuline is in the same boat. They've got to rent out Standby Stadium. $3,500, I think, was the number that I was getting. At least $3,000. So now what do you do? Now you're at $3,000 because they're not covering that cost, and you don't get any of the profit from the. I mean, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke, and we sit there.
For schools like that, they can't charge for parking.
Nope.
So Ursuline and Mooney, schools that got to rent out a stadium like that, they're not getting parking money because that's how most schools are going to try to come up with some kind of extra money.
Well, isn't some school running Struthers this weekend?
Yeah, Lowville.
Okay.
Oh, playing at Struthers. I got you.
Yeah. So and they're not making any money at all. They got to rent the game. They can't charge for like parking because it's not their school.
That's right.
Wait, 50% increase was not correct.
You go from $8 to $12. That is not a 50% increase.
She's a chemical engineering degree. Math's not her thing.
Think about what if a ticket was $8? What is half of $8?
It is 50%.
$4.
That'd be $4.
And if you're increasing it $4 to $12, you just increased your ticket 50%. 100% would be from 8 to 16. Suck on that, guys. I knew I was right with that. Thank you, Kate.
Then why did it take backup to get to you?
Hey, go to work.
Thank you, Kate. There it is. There's my beef. People doubting my abilities sometimes.
You're a study hall teacher.
I doubt your ability. I doubt your mobility, and any ability that's in there. I doubt it for you, Paul. I'm just throwing it out there.
I will say my wife is correct. My spelling sometimes is horrible. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like I've told you how many times to get Grammarly, because the 7-paragraph in a cluster doesn't work well. Now your kids are ripping on you.
I know. She's over here jumping up and down saying stuff. I know.
When I had a similes and metaphor paper, my dad said smiles and metaphor.
Boom!
Yep.
Nice job, Liv.
Get wrecked.
You just call his daughter a rat?
No, I said get wrecked.
Oh, yeah. I thought you called her a rat. McNuggy's about to get beat up by I can't help you with a kid. How old's Liv?
Liv's 10.
Yeah, she's gonna kick your ass, McNuggies.
No, I would stick the 8-year-old on him because she would kick his ass.
Well, she's a redhead, so
yeah.
Natural. She's got some natural anger pent up in that hair.
Yeah. So let's go back to our topic. Think about that. They increased their prices by 50% to pretty much gouge the fans because they lost money.
Yeah.
I don't understand, guys. I mean, again, they pat themselves on the back constantly about being about the kids. And yesterday I came out and I said, we're not going to
They're
beat up the
liars.
OHS.
They're not.
They're not. I mean, Shauna Roberts saying regionals $10 online, state semifinals are $12 online, 2020 state finals are $15. I was told today that number is $12 across the board.
Yeah, I seen $12 on Twitter all day yesterday too, flying around. So
Shauna, if you can get a regional ticket for $10, you're saving a couple bucks or you're buying them scalped. So be careful where you're buying that ticket.
Scalping the high school playoff game.
Listen, hey, if we weren't doing it,
you got to do it, man.
I might be out there hustling tickets. Because I mean, it's the same thing, right?
I'm glad I've been on the other side of this terrible organization that I'm not even going to name that are a bunch of scumbags. I've been on the right side from the beginning. I thought these guys are just pathetic. Is the nicest word I can use right now.
No, because you're supposed to be about the kids, but you're gonna hammer these parents to come see their kids if they even get a chance to because of the limited seating, and you're not doing anything for your schools. The amount of money they're giving the schools to host games is, I mean, it barely is covering, barely, if at all.
So it's not covering. I mean, what was it, 1,600?
1,600.
So let's say you're Carnegie or Ursuline.
Like 2,000 or I forget how much it was. It was
What's
over
that?
1,600. How much is it to like host the game? I remember it was over 1,600. I forget how much. So
You're getting $1,600 to if you're hosting the game. They're trying to give you $1,600 to say thank you and pay your people. That includes referees. That includes your custodians.
I get that.
That doesn't cover it.
I know, that's
Not
what I'm
even
saying.
close.
How much would it be to cover it? I forget that number.
If you're Carnegie or Ursuline, it's $3,500 to rent out Stanbaugh Stadium. So that's not even. It's a portion. It's a nugget of the chicken, so to speak, to put it in terms you'll get. I mean, that's where it's not there. And if you're not making money, and YSU holds what? You get the whole 1,500 plus, So it's interesting to see that the OHSAA is going to just try, and they're not being dainty about it. They're going right at people and they're saying, "You're going to give us our money. You're going to be happy about it. You're not going to watch it." And here we are. We talked yesterday about the $200 that they're sticking us with. Listen, business is business. You want to make money off us? That's fine. But when Friday and Saturday come around and people ask why it's $9.99, this is why it's $9.99. Because
can I just put something crazy out here?
Sure.
This is just a good feeling. This is fantasy land. I'm going to say here. We have some teams that are YSN that are playing against each other. How great would it be if nobody showed up to the game and they just watched it on YSN?
I think it'd be fantastic.
Just to stick it to that stupid evil empire crummy of an organization.
Can we be honest for a sec, Billy, though? If there was anybody out there that had capital and had the means to do so, this would be the time to go up against the OHSAA. Because there are schools left and right that would jump ship and say, it's time. This thing has run its course. Because people are tired of it. They're tired of being screwed over.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how much money is the OHSAA giving back to the schools that are putting the people in the seats? There it is. Goose eggs. Nothing. So when we sit there and we give 25% back, and I know it's not, we're not world beaters here, but 25%, let's say if we make $100,000, that's $25,000 that goes back to the schools. And it's not us doing it. We're facilitating it, but it's you. You want money to go back to the schools. You want money to go back into your son's or your daughter's education, their experience at a school. That's how you do it. If I'm an athletic director right now, and I'm not, so I can say this, I'm saying screw off. I'm saying, you know what? We're pulling out of the playoffs, and we're gonna go raise our own money because right now during COVID.
We'll pay your $100 fine.
Yeah, who's bailing out the schools? This is And from what I understand, the OHSAA got COVID money. So they're going to sit here, and I was trying to allude to this. The board approved the 2021 OHSAA budget, which includes a projected $1.3 million deficit due to a decreased spectators permitted at tournament contests. You canceled it.
Yeah.
You can't. And then you put this up, and for everybody you're going to make all your money back and then some from this football situation. So instead of instead of running a business like you should in the midst of COVID and taking mercy on the people that got you there, you're going to take a stick and absolutely beat them like a piñata. And think about this. $12 times how many? 300 games week 1?
Yeah.
That's a couple bucks.
And an average, depending on what stadiums they are, some stadiums are going to get that capacity of 1,500 people. Some are going to get, 400 to 600, 700 people.
Oh, did you see the Browns got an increase of state fans this weekend?
And you're telling me that the OHSAA is not going to?
12,000 now.
So who knows what happens with next week? Because if I'm high school, I'm like, why do they get it and we don't get it?
I think Cincinnati got an increase too.
I'd make that argument too.
And think about this, football obviously is where they make all their money. They make a ton of money on football because they're making all the ticket money, and then you go look at what are they giving back? They're not giving medals back. You're not getting anything for your district because basically in a normal year, as soon as you make the playoffs, you're in your district. Okay, they give a regional trophy, and then they give a state championship trophy, and then a runner-up. So 3 trophies in football, but they're bringing all that money in. They're not dishing anything else back out. In baseball and softball and basketball, they get medals. The kids get medals and things. But again, what are those costing a piece? $2-3, when they do stuff like that. It's ridiculous to think of the amount of money they're going to make, even in a COVID year with small amount of people they're letting in, and they're giving back a regional championship trophy to a team, and that's it. And that's probably costing maybe $30-40 for that one trophy after they've just made tens of thousands of trophies or tens of thousands of dollars for the last.
I'd be willing to bet that they've had trophies on trophies on trophies and just put a new plaque over it and it says 2020.
Well, the trophy goes back to school.
I know that, but they've had the trophies. What I'm saying, they've had the physical trophies for years. You buy them in bulk, then you put a plaque over it. It's not even costing them anything. That's already been paid for years ago.
I just don't. I don't understand for the life of me how one organization can feel bad for us because we had to cancel the tournament. No, I don't feel bad for you. I feel bad for those kids. I feel bad for the West Branch girls that were on the floor, playing for a state championship, playing for a state title, and you came up to them right before the game and said, "You have to go back."
Yeah.
They
could have played. They could let them play. There was no fans there, I think, anyway, wasn't there? They're very limited.
Yeah, there was fans, but it was limited.
Yeah, there was fans there.
I'm so tired of
the YSNAA.
Listen, if I had the capital, I would do it in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? And and here's the frustrating part is I keep looking down and there's things hidden in the. Everybody was on a call yesterday. The majority of athletic directors were on a call, this OHSAA call to figure out how things are going. The board approved the 2021 OHSAA media regulations and tournament broadcast rates. You think it's bad for football? Wait till you see basketball. Wait till you see baseball, softball. Games that don't even have revenue generators on them, right? There's no tickets to be had for baseball games. There is with the OHSAA now. So there's more money that they're going to make off of this. They're just trying to, until somebody comes on, and this is the same way, and this is what pisses me off, the same way that was being run in the media organization before we came in, and we changed the game there. If there's somebody out there with a couple mil that want to step up, I'd be happy to help you out in figuring out how to go 1-on-1, 1v1 versus the OHSAA and bring out a really, really great product that gives ownership back to the schools, ownership back to the power of the people, so to speak. Because this is getting ridiculous. This is borderline monopoly, right? Because now they get this is the biggest bullshit of it all, guys. When you look at this and you go, okay, you got
dictatorship.
The OHSAA and Spectrum to serve as the OHSAA's official television partner for 2021 and 2020. It will include exclusive live television coverage of selected football and basketball games. Delayed television coverage and some live streaming coverage is permitted for football and basketball games. It goes on to say, this is what gets me. It goes on to say the board also approved OHSAA to finalize a contract with the NFHS network to provide live streaming coverage of selected tournament contests. You know what that tells me? NFHS just paid.
Yep.
And that's furthering places like us, which I don't care. You want to play? We'll play. We'll step up to the plate just like we're doing this weekend. We will step up to the plate and pay what it costs because we'll figure a way out. We're not going to back down from the OHSAA. We're not going to back down from television stations. We're not going to back down from radio stations. We're the coolest cat in town. You want to watch the games? You're watching them here on YSN because we're sticking our neck out for you. It's not the other way around. The OHSAA is doing nothing for you except making that money off of what you're doing. So the next time we get kicked on a Friday or Saturday and say, I want my money back, just remember who's trying to deliver for you. That's the biggest thing. That is my biggest pain in the ass. Like, we are out there for you. We are power to the people. The money that we make does not cover our expenses. We have great sponsors. We have people that are paying the $9.99, and we greatly appreciate it. But if you knew how much of that we actually got, and you're sitting there calling us rich and patting us, or pounding us and saying, hey, this is a robbery. We got one today, guys, that I almost threw up on my mouth. Like, this is a racket. All right, come on down. I'll educate you. Come on. It doesn't have to be on Power Hour. I'll go one-on-one with you. Come on down. Bring your notepad. Paul will bring his notepad. We'll do some good math, and we'll figure out who the hell is benefiting from this. It's just the OHSAA makes me sick. Makes me sick. Because they talk out of both sides of their mouth and both sides bullshit. There it is.
I'd love to get like a former employee to come on or talk to us and just tell us like all the scumbag stuff that goes on there.
I'm so pissed off right now. Like they've taken me.
Didn't somebody get fired over the summer or something?
Yeah, president.
The executive director.
Yeah.
There you go, Paul.
They fired him,
Oh, he got hush money. He got hush money. He ain't talking.
He got fired because he was a little hesitant to let everything go full bore, which they needed to do to make money. And he was worried about the health of the kids.
He cared about the kids.
Jerry Snodgrass.
Jerry Snodgrass was one of the best executive directors they had. And they pulled the plug on him for a couple of different reasons. They said they didn't like listen, it's because he wasn't all about the green. He wasn't all about trying to make money on the backs of kids. This is why he got let go. And the thing is, they're not even trying to sneak this, guys. They're just putting it out in front of people's faces because they have to. Because they have to. And that's the disturbing part of all of this. They're not just hurting us anymore. They're throwing it back on the parents. I mean, we had someone call in a couple days ago saying, "Listen, my grandparents, or my parents, which is the kids' grandparents, student athletes, they can't go. They don't have enough tickets. Like how? It's stupid.
the one guy from Poland, that Colosimo,
Nick. Yep.
He's always on there telling us how much he loves because his parents can't go to games. They live in PA, but they get to watch their grandkid play. How many times have we done that? And it's not only for sports, though, too. There's other things that we've done out there for communities that highlight their people and do it nationwide.
As Matt's chiming in and saying Jerry's one of the best people, one of the only people more interested in the best interest of the kids than he was the cash grab, and he's right, and that's across the board. Like, I have never heard anybody say that Jerry Snodgrass cared about the bottom dollar of the OHSAA. He wanted to make things right for the kids, for the schools, for the athletic directors, and that's the thing. They just got to the point they didn't care anymore. They don't care about us. They don't care about the schools. They certainly don't care about the athletic directors. Like, they wouldn't even let them talk during the meeting yesterday. How do you mute somebody and be like, yeah, we care about you. We care about you enough that you got to be here and listen to what we say and shut your mouth. I mean, that's not democracy. You want to talk about the state of politics in our world right now, which we won't. But look at the state of politics in sports. I mean, you've got a company in the OHSAA that has an exclusive contract with a television company that none of the schools make $1 off of.
No. Or it covers, I guarantee you could probably say they don't cover 80% of the schools in the state. When's there ever been
low?
When does you think that's low? You think it's higher than that?
I'd think so.
I mean, because myself personally, when they ever been in this area? When has Spectrum ever came to a game, whether it's Mahoning, Trumbull, Columbiana County, ever? Cleveland, Toledo, Dayton, Cincinnati, Columbus.
I'll put my dollars right now that if Springfield plays Mogador, they're shutting us out.
Probably.
That's when you're going to see.
You can still do radio, can't you?
Yeah, we can do audio.
Yeah.
And we will. And we won't charge for it.
Yeah.
And we will give it to, like, I don't care. We'll pay for advertising everywhere we go and let people know that it's here. Because if how fair is it for Springfield people if they don't have Spectrum to have to be locked out?
We're an Armstrong area.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Spectrum around there.
Yeah.
Look at EB right in the novel here. I would think as a school you should be able to say who you want to have your stream. Yeah, where'd McNuggies go? The OHSAA is the governing body of the sport, but they aren't governing the body of the student athletes. The schools are. So if the schools come out and say they want a choice in the streams and gets money from then they do. And I'll be honest with you, I think that is where this conversation needs to go. Is the schools, and I keep hearing this from everybody else, oh, it's going to go back to the way it was. It better not. It better not. And if you're an athletic director out there, I would be holding on close to YSN. I would be holding as close and as tight as I possibly can to making revenue off of something, an unorthodox piece of media to which we're not going to put hundreds of thousands of dollars in ourselves. I mean, imagine what it costs to bring in a teacher for the equipment, for all that stuff, or you could just bring us in and get 25% of what we get.
Yeah.
It's an easy decision.
Yeah. The regular season, and we've all talked about this, privately, of course. The regular season the OHSAA should have no business to say anything about your regular season. Playoffs, if you're part of their little group of the playoffs, we get it. But weeks 1 through 10 in a normal season, they shouldn't be able to tell you, boo. You should be able to put that on a Jumbotron, on the freaking Goodyear blimp flying around. You should be able to do whatever you want. It's your game. They're not making any pennies off of that. But they try to, because they try to say, well, these are the rules we want you to play by. Well, give us some money then.
I'll be honest, there's a lawsuit there that could be there. Everybody I've talked to, if the schools could have a lawsuit, any school could have a lawsuit, and it could be across the board, because they're not making it. How can it be exclusive if you're not making any money?
Yeah.
It's stupid. Yeah, I just can't believe that schools would agree to that. Whether they slipped it into some contract or I don't know how it worked, or how you get to be exclusive for every school in the state of Ohio on Friday night, but not Thursday night, not Saturday night, just Friday night. Something fishy about that. Something real fishy about that. And if that's the case, we'll start talking to schools about playing on Thursday and Saturday. You want to play that game? We'll play that game. Because guess what? We got the chess guy. Right
They probably don't have the rights because college football is on their channels on Saturday.
I mean, why would you sign that contract in the first place? I just don't believe any schools knowing and understanding would sign that contract. And quite honestly, what's the penalty if we run a game on Friday?
Yeah.
What are they going to do? Sue us?
Yeah, and that's the thing is, certain places always had, and we all grew up doing it or watching it, where I'm going, but it was always delayed. Everything was always delayed. You're like, why can't you show it at 7:00 when the game goes on?
The school has the rights to all their stuff. Anything that happens on their property, the school has the rights to. And
Exactly.
any attorney's going to tell you the exact same thing. You cannot be exclusive with every team in the state of Ohio, whether they're OHSA or not. Like, it's bunk.
So they would basically just say you're disqualified from the playoffs. So if you want to play in their playoffs.
But why are they penalizing the school? They would have to come after us, which is fine. But if we have a contract with the school, then what do they do?
Well, because then they would do the same thing.
You're going to penalize the school?
Yeah.
It's OSHA. It's the OHSAA. Do you expect anything less?
That would be huge PR disaster for them.
Oh, it'd be atrocious.
And that's what the lawyers
and good for YSN and the school would get a whole bunch of stuff because you'd see it on Barstool, you'd see it on ESPN, you see it on Fox, you see it on CNN how the state came after a local school and a local news
Sports
network.
network. Yeah, I mean that's all of this is crazy to me. I don't understand for the life of me how the OHSAA can rest their head at night and feel good about the way they get up in the morning. Like, how do you look yourself in the mirror and say, yes, we're about the kids, we're about the student athlete, and do the things that you do in the chronological order that you do them in, and put it out there and with a smile on your face? Doesn't make sense. And I'm not mad about paying. People are sitting there, oh, he's mad about paying, $4,000 for these games. I don't give a shit. I don't care. We'll pay it. We have people that have stepped up and said, we'll give you money. And we say, no, we've got this. The reality is it's not about the price point. It's about the precedent that you're setting. Like, this is not the way you win in life. This is not the way. Like, you can't just bully people. Because guess what? Sometimes when the kid gets bullied, he stands up and beats your ass down. And I'm not saying that's what we're going to do, but I'm saying you're not going to keep us down for long.
Well, and that's what they are. They're the bully who's been stealing kids' candy forever, and nobody's ever said, "Why'd you just take my candy?" And they just let it go, and they just say, "Okay," and they follow the bully down the street. And it's going to take somebody, whether it's us or a school. It's going to have to be a school, I think, first that does it. Is stand up and say, "No, this is my candy." And I'm going to do what I want with my candy, and you're not taking it.
This is my candy. I'm going to eat my candy.
Right. And then I'm going to sell it for the South Lake State baseball team.
Right. I'm making a profit off my own candy.
All right. Let's wrap this garbage talk up. Again, to kind of put a bow on this, $12 tickets for the OHSAA to get in, $9.99. All the games on YSN. So you pick where you think the most value is. Hi there. Hi. Let's go to our final segment of the day, which is always our G. Burbick Farms What's Your Beef? Quinn, let's start with you.
Beef.
Can't piggyback off anybody today, buddy.
No, my only beef is with, I guess, Aaron Rodgers for not throwing Aaron Jones the ball more. I need it in fantasy. But that's it. I won. I beat Scotty, so I'm happy.
Are you bragging about beating a kid in a wheelchair?
Absolutely. 3-0.
Undefeated.
He was undefeated. I don't care.
That's a scumbag thing.
I don't care if he's in the chair or not.
I found my beef for the day.
I won. Suck it, Scotty. Suck it.
Wow. Richie, go ahead. Please don't offend anybody in a wheelchair.
No, I'm not. I'm going to say my beef's with myself. I can never seem to find a nice place to be on this show. So I got to build my own room or something here in the next couple of weeks.
It got all cloudy there now.
It's Richie Rain Delay.
It's getting cold. It might start raining here in about 5 minutes. Wind's blowing in hard, too.
Richie Rain Delay is back.
I'm back, baby.
Let's go to Muncie. What do you got?
I guess to kind of, piggyback off of Quinn a little bit, I'm a little, upset freaking Matt Ryan. God, he's a terrible quarterback.
Oh, he was horrible.
And I lost by like 11 points to Jamie. But credit to Jamie. It was his one highlight for the weekend because his other two teams got just crushed. So it was terrible. I'm sitting there watching the game, and Jamie and I start texting each other, and I'm like, I'm going to lose by like 2 points, and that's going to piss me off more than losing by like 10 or 11. And then I was glad when they turned the ball over and it was done. I was like, end this show. This is horrible because, come on. Jeez, oh man! But like I said, at least Jamie got his one win for the weekend on there. But I guess that'd be a beef too. Where's Jamie been? His teams get smacked over the weekend and he disappears.
He's got a gun. Be careful what you say.
That's true. I do too, though. So
not in the school though.
No, not here.
Gonna get into a gunfight with Jamie.
We're gonna do a duel right here on
one of those slap fights. You ever see one of those?
Yeah.
Dude, those guys get insane.
Yeah,
I would win that every day of the week.
Knock each other out insane.
We were about this close from doing slap fights on YSN until we got sports back. Ty Bartell, your beef, please.
Don't really have a beef today. More of just gloating for the guy below me that takes fantasy sports way too serious. Like whooped his ass in fantasy this week, so he could take that to the woodshed and get smacked down again.
Can we just go straight to Mackenzie on that as a rebut, and I'll get back to you, Billy. All right, Michael Mackenzie.
Fantasy football beef as well because Calvin Ridley decided I'm gonna drop a big old goose egg on you, so screw you. Because I drafted him in every single league and it cost me like 3 games. But just wait, Ty. As long as I made the playoffs, I don't care who I lose to. It's all about the playoffs, which I'm probably not in right now. Yeah, I'm sitting at 8, so that kind of sucks.
Subtitle. It's all about the playoffs, which I'm probably not in.
Yeah.
So I'm probably not in. Yeah.
Really?
Let's head out to
this weekend.
It sucks, but yeah, but another beef. What I was gonna beef with was, of course, OHSAA. Just quick. They're not for the kids. Stop BSing us. We know what you're all about.
Ooh, all right. Let's head out to Scumbag Central USA. Billy Mack, what do you got?
First off, I had a good weekend in fantasy football. My players finally showed up, and I think I had 190 points or something like that. So I had a pretty good week there. But today I've had a pretty crummy day. Nothing's really gone right for me today. Last night I shot a video advertising thing at work, and it took me about 50 tries to get that right, and I still hate it. And I went to edit it, did all the things today. I spent about 5-6 hours on it, didn't save it, and I don't have it anymore, so I got to do it all over again. And some other things went wrong with some apparel, and then OSHA scumbags.
Whoops. Hang on. There we go. I saw Leslie pop his head in somewhere. Where's he at? There he is.
Hey, one question. I didn't see the final from Saturday from that JFK Holland game. Not sure who won that game.
Hey, another question. Which team's a YSN team?
JFK.
Get the hell out of here. My beef, I've had a couple slabs of beef here already on the Power Hour. The other one is going to be, listen, we are loyal, local, and live. That's how we do it here at YSN. If you're not going to be loyal, local, and live, you probably shouldn't be tuning in. We're not here to announce the Indians. We're not here to announce the Browns, the Steelers, the Pirates, you name it. We're here to announce local. This is LOCAL, local. We are talking about high school football teams, high school baseball teams, high school softball teams, high school basketball teams, high school volleyball teams, high school, hyper local. Enough said. Stop talking about the freaking Indians. Stop talking about stuff that doesn't matter. We're not trying to compete with ESPN. We're not trying to compete with SportsCenter. We are YSN. We kick everybody's ass that's local. End of story. Stay away from the freaking Indians. That's it. If you have a show, do not talk about it. Stop.
And pizza.
stop and stop eating my food. That's it.
Billy, 181-1 is what you scored this week.
That's going to do it for the
I
Power
didn't even
Hour.
crack 90.
Oh, there he goes. There's Kraft Mac and Cheese Steve.
I love Duran. I'm all in. All in.
That's going to do it for the Power Hour. We'll see you tomorrow, 3 to 4, right here on YSN. Thanks for everybody for tuning in.
If you're going to eat my food, you better pay 50 cents.
That's right.